Hello and welcome once again to Wandering Monster, America's tabletop showcase, where we endeavor to show you the games you're interested in, how they play both mechanically, narratively, and I don't know, psychically, sensually. Um, Friends, we got lost in the forest. Um, we've been bitten by gnats, we've been attacked by snakes. Um, and and frankly, it's an election year, so I don't have time for it. I don't have the time, the patience, the goodwill. Like I'm out. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to figure out where in the forest we are, and we're going to deal with it. What I'm talking about, of course, is we have been playing Trophy Dark. Now, Trophy Dark is a system and a setting that involves doomed hunters, adventurers, explorers diving into these terrible woods that want us dead, and uh, and they're probably going to get their way if I am being honest about it. Um, Now you may notice one of our good friends is not with us tonight. Bridget is out. I saw her this weekend, and I sneezed directly into her mouth while she was talking to someone. So she's sick. Um, she was with us last time, so her character is still with us. But as I said, we're doomed. So I don't know how long she's gonna be with us. Um,
I don't know what you mean by that, John.
no, everything is
Hmm.
fine. The forest is lovely. There's a great picnic spot ahead. I know exactly where it is. We're all going to be fine.
So, where we had left off was the characters had climbed up a waterfall, seeking kind of refuge from the terrors of the swamp and the gloaming mire. At the top of this was a shrine that seemed to really resonate with Maradi's character, belonging to Thamiel the Ever Bleeding, one of these sisters that had previously been seen in that vision that was given by those strange henges when they first entered into this accursed place. As you are collecting here, maybe it's the scent of blood that is perpetually flowing from the marble bast of your goddess, your sister, your saint. But those insect swarms that had harried you so seem to be back. It begins as a slight drone that is interlaced with sounds of whining. The very like thin trickles of sunlight that come through the trees becomes thinner and darker as the hordes begin to collect again. From here, you can see the passage that you had come from before, all the quagmires and sinkholes that you could have fallen into. And as you're looking in the direction of your destination, the flocculent cathedral, you can see that there is a winding road that goes through large hillocks of moss and gnarled dwarfen trees and strange plants that defy organization. If it's quite a tree, if it's a giant herb, if it is a plant. But here things seem to take a decidedly more twisted and unfamiliar look. So that is where we are going to pick up. You don't have too much time, you think, before these swarms would ascend upon you. And you still have a while to go before you reach the cathedral, ever looming at the edge of the horizon. Mute, John, you is.
Kevin, were you the one who did the trick with the gnats, or was that Kel?
That was Kel. Okay. I was the one that got bit by the snake, and all the gnats were swarming around it.
Okay. Oh, never mind then.
Kel is still with you.
That's true. I don't remember what voice I was using for Maradi. So I assume it was, "Oi, Kev." Oh, my voice cracked in such a way that informed me that I'm not doing that voice.
I can assure you that was not the voice.
The inconsistencies between your voice could be due to the copious gouts of gnats that had forced their way down your gullet in between our play dates.
Oh, good. Just out there, free snorting gnats. Oi, Kel. Can you do anything about all these gnats then, as you did before?
Kel looks in the distance, seemingly not listening to you at first, before snapping their beautiful and haunting gaze at you. They give a little bit of a smile. They crack their knuckles. It's especially loud from the arm that was previously severed and then reattached. And they say, I don't think that's going to work a second time. They point. You see how there's more gnats than there were before? I think they're on to us.
All right, well, in that case, we ought to hurry, I think.
Yeah, agreed. Let's go.
I'll do my best.
I reach up and drag a few fingers through the red lichen of her majestic lady of the bloody month, and kind of paint war paint on my face with it.
You're not sure, but you think that you catch that there might be the hint of a faint smile on the statue when you do that. You also notice that the red tendrils that are snaking through Kel's armor begin to kind of point in the direction of the road.
Right then. Let's off. And Maradi begins trudging. Yeah, I'm in full armor. Yeah, awesome. I head down the path towards the or if there's not a path, I start cutting a path through the foliage towards the ruins.
So there is a path. There is a dirt path that seems as if maybe it was a large road enough for 2 wagons aside, but that the moss and the vegetation has swallowed the sides of it so much that there is a bare foot trail that still meanders through it. That being said, you could just trudge your own way through this. This is a sea of moss, like how there are seas of kudzu, but it is punctuated with weird and gnarled trees. You could definitely go off-road if you think that is the best direction.
Since I have the skill paths, would I be able to see a path off the beaten path that might be a little bit better?
Go ahead and make me a risk roll, if you so want. Inherently, because you know that if you chose a path that wasn't there, then there would be risk.
All right, so that is going to be a light die and a dark die.
You don't have to take the dark die. It's if you want to add a die. So you do a base, you get a 1 light die. You can take a dark die if you want to really risk or push yourself somehow. And you can also get that devil's bargain from any of your players who want to make the narrative more dangerous.
Well, seeing as, the wound on his leg from that snake bite is starting to look worse and worse, he wants to push through and get there and back as quick as he possibly can. So I will take the opportunity to use the dark die if anybody wants to do a Devil's Bargain. I'm in for it.
Kel will offer a help roll. And as you turn to look at Kel, you see that tendril that is growing through their face is blossomed. And now there are little flowers that kind of hang down in chains dangling off their face. It is both makes them more beautiful and more abhorrent. Do you take their help?
Do I have any other offers?
I will say that okay. I will say that if you tap into your innate understanding of the land, your mind is going to brush up against the very, very edges of the forest's sentience, and it will have gained a foothold in your thoughts and will present itself as intrusive thoughts for the rest of the campaign.
I have a proposition for you, Kevin.
Okay.
You are spoiled for choices, my dude.
I know.
You can ask Valen to help you, but keep in mind he is currently in best boy form,
Yes.
and you have a peg leg. I have the ability presence, which I believe also being in best boy form, I should be able to sniff out a path real easily, but I'm going to attempt to play fetch with your leg and chew it up real bad. So if you already have a limp, it's gonna be worse.
It should be an important distinction that you're getting 2 devil's bargains from your compatriots, and Kel is offering a pure help roll, which doesn't pose you any immediate kind of risk, but only to them. Just a matter if you want to accept that. So you can even accept a devil's bargain and help if you want it. That is entirely up to you.
I think I will keep my thoughts to myself, keep my peg leg to myself, and I will take Kel's helping hand. So that is another light.
So they roll the help.
Oh, they roll.
They're
Okay.
D6. And if their number matches any of your dark dice, then they gain a point of ruin and a condition. So they have more risk than you.
Gotcha. Okay. That is a 6 on the light and a 4 on the dark.
Kel had rolled a 5, so nothing untoward happens to them. So you pick the highest result out of that. And you said you had a 6 on your light die, correct?
Yes. Yes, sir.
And you succeed. When you really get a view of this, you can tell that there are little low points in the sea of moss. There are also little pitfalls. And you notice there's a little bit of twitching around that. There's something very sinister in those areas about the moss itself. You do notice that there is a shrine that seems to be sticking out of the moss. At first it was hidden as if it was kind of almost looked like a log or stump at first, but you see that it is a little bit of like a safe oasis, and it seems to be calling to you. There is a decided path that winds kind of around some of those more dangerous areas leading straight to it.
Okay.
When you look at these ascending clouds of insects, they seem to be avoiding it.
I will point out the shrine to Moriarty and Valen and Kel, and I mean, explain everything you just said. You know, all the pitfalls and looking sinister and all, but it seems to be the more direct path.
I'm for it. The faster we get there, the faster we can get out.
That's my thoughts.
Sounds great.
Sorry, what was that, boy? You'll go to the path, boy?
Yeah,
You'll
Path?
go to the path?
I like paths. Paths are great. Yeah.
Yeah, can you lead the way and avoid the pitfalls, boy?
I-
Let's go, boy. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Spins in circle 3 times, back once the other direction, and then just takes off.
That should probably be fine.
Yeah. I don't see anything wrong with any of that.
Goes off the path, jumps in a bush. You hear growling, and then he jumps back on the path with like a twig in his fur.
And gets sprayed by a skunk. Got it.
It's fun. He's doing his fucking best.
So you start to make a beeline towards where this shrine is. And speaking of beelines, several lines of bees and other stinging insects begin to assail you as you start to run towards this shrine. The closer that you get to the shrine, the more of those clouds begin to kind of peel back and get thin. It almost seems as if none of these clouds of stinging and biting insects comes within about 7 feet of the shrine. This is another one of those sisters, those saints that are part of the Floccuan Cathedral. There's something really familiar about this to you, Akale. This is a patron saint of your occupation. What does this saint look like? And what feelings does it invoke within you?
The saint, my occupation is a geomancer, so I'm thinking like it's like moss covered a moss covered like jade statue that's been weathered and everything, and it calling to me that reminding me that of what my whole purpose for being here is to finance my expedition to the blossoming sea and find riches and other beautiful gems, much like this one was carved out of.
Does the saint have a name?
Put me on the spot here.
It doesn't have to have a name. Sometimes you don't give names because to give a name is to give power.
No name. Not to give it
All right.
power.
I reach up and drag 2 fingers through the moss and add another line of war paint to my face.
Can I sniff it?
The statue on my face.
Yes.
Yes.
The moss around the statue, as you kind of reach out and you touch it, browns a bit and curls at the edges. It kind of spreads across the statue.
What if I pee on it?
No.
But I will say bad dog.
No.
That's
We already
not
took
what
you-
good boys
Ears
do.
go back, tail goes between legs, sulks away.
We'll
Yes.
take you another 10 feet to a good, nice little potty spot, but not right here.
Gets distracted, starts doing something else, does not even remember there's a statue there.
Said sound licks balls. Got it.
Yeah, pretty much.
At this point, as you're standing around the shrine, the thick cloud of insects almost hovers around it, but almost making a sphere. It is getting to be pitch black as the concentration of bugs around this just makes this shell around it as a perfect 7-foot sphere. It seems as if there is a little bit of a thinner veil on the south wall of the sphere of bugs. You know that as when you were looking at paths, that there seemed to be another path branching from there, going past those hills of moss, although it is hard to tell exactly how to reorient the trail with how thick the bugs are.
Okay. I think we should head towards the south here. It looks like the wall of insects is a little lighter here. How big is this statue or this
How large is it?
I
8 feet
would
tall?
I guess 8 feet tall.
So this is a significantly large shrine.
Okay.
Okay. So Kel offers to throw their arm like they did before to see if they can't see beyond the cloud. Hopefully the bugs won't get hurt, do too much damage to the arm. Is that something you want to do as a group, or are you wanting to just break and make a run for it?
I think that throwing your bloody meat through the bugs that's a fucking fool thing to do, Kel. Remember, we're trying to make it back alive. That's the point.
Yep. Kel,
I'm all for breaking a break.
I would be down for making a break, but I have one peg leg and the other one has been bitten by a snake and is not doing good. So I'm kind of torn on her throwing that arm and creating a diversion.
or maybe Goodest
Do
Boy
you
will
say
carry
that out
you.
loud? Or is that just like you're telling us your character motivation?
I'm saying that out loud.
I'm sorry, what you're suggesting is that she sacrificed herself for your cowardice.
Not my
Well, I'm hearing.
cowardice. No, I mean she
A little
she
bit
offered
of
a.
your cowardice.
Are
Well,
you saying I'm the goodest boy?
I'm
Are
saying
you-
of course you're the
are-
I'm saying you're a better boy than him, if he's suggesting that, yes.
How could goodest boy at this point am I large enough to be like do you need a piggyback ride? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Do you need-
I've
do you
got
need
more
an
pride
uppy?
than that. I'm just saying if there was another option to keep the attention off of us. I mean,
I mean, I'm pretty
Follow.
fast on 2 legs. I might be faster on 4. I'm just saying.
yeah. All right, fine. No, there's no cowards here, obviously, but let's make a break for it. After
If you're worried about your leg, that ability of mine doesn't stop at me. I could detach your leg. If you don't want that poison to spread.
That won't make him any faster, though.
Just an option.
Y'all were very bad at friendship.
Look,
I don't-
you're already used to the 1 peg leg. What's another peg leg? What's the poison doesn't spread?
Bad at friendship.
Yeah.
I thought
And-
that was a very nice offer.
That was a nice
You're
offer.
wrong. You're extremely wrong.
I think with the whole conversation, everyone kind of getting closer in, the fact that I'm hearing the maggots feasting every time somebody gets close to me or I'm close to them is just starting to wear on me. That it's actually drowning out the conversation itself, and I'm just gonna start walking to the south, making a break for it.
The son of a bitch.
As the first, I was going to say, as the first person that's running through the bug sphere, you're going to get the largest attention. So you're going to be making a ruin roll. So you're going to roll a dark die. If you roll higher than your current ruin, you gain a ruin and another condition.
All right. Guess who gets another ruin, boys?
What's
That's
your
5.
current ruin? All right. So as you roll me another d6, and then do that first.
That's a 4.
So is your that bite that is kind of getting putrescent on your leg, is it also bleeding?
Yes.
Okay. Then you notice as you are running down, looking at your feet, trying not to get bugs in your eyes, that what looks to be tadpoles are dripping out of those puncture wounds and flowing with your blood. The droning of the insects kind of severs everything You can't hear your companions behind you. Hopefully, they're following you. You know that Marathi was saying something as soon as you started running through, and all there is this terrible drone of insects. It's hypnotic. It's worse than the sea at night at tempest. It is maddening, worse than all the sounds of snores in a cabin. And the patterns, as your brain is attuned to patterns, begin to speak to you. It's not so much words as it is the violence that you feel when waves try to bring your ship asunder. It is the violence that is at the end of the tip of a sword that promises riches and ruin. The forest is speaking to you, offering you salvation for the rotting leg, for the missing leg, for the poison that is seeping in your blood. If only you would make things more difficult for your companions, things would go easier for you.
Okay.
Snapping back, you were saying something, Marathi, before you got cut off.
I was specifically saying, "Oh, son of a bitch," as he runs off.
Okay. Then, Alkali, if you want, now that you're at 5 ruin, you can make reduction rolls. You can choose to actively work against your party to preserve your life. Anytime that you want to make a reduction roll, you can roll a light die. This is helping like in any way you're going to help the forest, interrupting people's rituals, betraying the party, destroying treasures and important items. If you roll a light die and you get less than your current ruin, your betrayal goes unnoticed and you remove a ruin. If it's equal or higher, you can decide if you want to still remove that ruin, but then everyone knows that you're a traitor. You don't have to betray the party, but there are tadpoles pouring out of your leg.
Okay.
Just letting you know.
Gotcha.
What are the rest of you doing? Are you
to
following
betray the party?
after?
You get to betray the party.
Kel's going to run after.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Just there with the rest of the pack, you know, hanging out, sniffing a butt or two. It's fine.
Valen, you're able to kind of follow by scent and all the sounds of thrashing that your party are making in front of you. And when you run through there, all of these bugs get stuck in your fur, and it is a terrible, terrible feeling. The lot of you, as you are kind of running blindly, actually, since you are running blindly, I'm going to have each of you, you've already done one, Alkali, have you roll a ruin roll. So again, that's D6, and you want to roll under your current ruin or gain another condition. It looks like John's failed. Looks like everyone's failed.
So, okay, hear me out. I enjoy this game, and I do not want to save myself. I failed the fuck out of that. I rolled a 6.
All right. So now, what is your current ruin? 5. Okay.
5 Ruin Club.
Bollywood. It's a Bollywood 5. I don't know if that makes a difference.
Roll. Okay, then I need you, Marathi, and Balin to roll me D6 to find out what your new conditions are.
I rolled a 5.
And Balin? Your D6?
6.
Okay. As you So basically, a lot of you are running through these insects blindly. Some of you stumble into quagmires and just soak yourself. Other of you fall flat on the ground, cracking teeth. But a lot of you are kind of scrape your way out of this morass and find yourself at the foot of another shrine. When you kind of examine your wounds, Maradi, you see that the hair on your body grows wetter and heavier, and you are dripping in fluid, and you're not sure exactly where all this moisture came from. For you, Valen, you are that din of the insects, that muffled sound seems to be still all around you, even though as you're in the shrine, again, you have the seven sphere of protection, and when you go to touch your ear, clods of moss fall out.
No, don't like that. Bad.
Moss replaces that moss. Why don't you try it again?
Okay, hold on. Let me just. Did it come out?
Yet more
Nailed it.
moss. You are in a gorgeous shrine. This shrine is of exquisite craftsmanship. Although man might be an odd thing to say, because these are clearly elven in design. You see that there's not one statue of a sister or a saint, but a whole host of them. They're in a scene. They all seem to be looking at a central figure that's kneeling with their hands cupping the ground. A large ball of moss. All of the elven features, or these beautiful features, all seem to look like Kel's face. You see Kel just stare at the ball of moss. They kneel and they stick their face into the moss. The moss wraps around Kel's face, and Kel rears up to look at you. It looks like either Kel is screaming, shouting something, maybe singing, but moss just pours down their throat, in through their eye sockets, in through their nostrils, and they become a conduit of moss. It spreads across their body. They put their arms out, and moss just drips off of them. Akale, their empty eye sockets, just eyes maybe eaten away by the moss, lock onto you. Kel makes some type of gurgle sound and then runs further towards the cathedral. You can see every step that they leave behind parts the bugs and leaves a clear path towards the spire, still sticking further deeper into the horizon. So Kel got their last point of ruin.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. That'll get you.
Well, that looks to be the path to the cathedral. Kel's leading the way. What say you, boys?
We've come this far?
I'm sorry, you're saying. In this case, you're saying we should trust the forest.
No. I mean, it's a clear
Because
path,
that's
obviously.
you understand that's the forest, right?
What do you mean? No, that's the path. I can clearly see the path that's going to the cathedral so we can get our riches.
Show me your wound.
Well, that's a little forward. Okay. And I'll kind of kick my leg out and kind of tuck a tadpole back in. That was like that before.
What is Good Boy's name again?
Valen?
Yeah, Valen.
Valen?
Valen, you're a good boy.
Yeah, yes, I am.
Can you sniff out corruption?
I believe my presence should let me know that I'm in the presence of corruption. I believe.
Okay.
That's the way I'm going to read that. Yes.
Give our Woomy friend a good sniff here.
It's coming from the guy that's got gooey, moist hair dripping out of him? Come
Okay.
on. We were literally just fine, like not more than 15 minutes ago. And I've seen paths. There's a path clear.
Then let him sniff you and be done with it.
Easy.
I rolled
Ian?
I rolled a 6.
Ian, it's worth mentioning I have 5 ruin. I assume I'm hearing the same whispers of the forest.
I did not get to that, but yes, you also hear them. But
As
for you,
soon as Valen starts growling, I'm going to draw my sword in an attempt to skewer my friend.
Which friend?
Not the good boy.
Okay, good.
oh, okay. Okay. So this is a time that we have our contested roles. So, okay, are you trying to wound? Are you trying to scare off? What is your intent with your attack?
I am trying to gut him. I am trying to wound him.
Okay.
I am making life hard for my fellows.
Okay. All right. Usually, so now I'm trying to figure out: is this just a murderous impulse that you have? Are you acting on behalf of the forest?
I am acting on behalf of the forest.
Okay. So in that case, so normally reduction roll, you're trying to be subtle. Here you're being overt. So that is a very interesting utilization. Patrolling the park, betraying the
the
party.
subtlety
Okay.
in this is that I have convinced Valen that Kevin is the corrupted one, and that I'm protecting the non-corrupted people. That is the subtlety here.
I see that. Thank you for making that distinction. Are you okay with how the scene would potentially play out, Alkali?
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
Okay. Then we will make this. First off, I'm going to have you at first, Marati, make me your reduction roll. So roll d6 and see if you get under that. Your current level of ruin.
Nope.
Okay, now this is where the scene gets more
I
interesting.
just rolled my third 6 of the night.
That tells you something. So
6.
okay, so here, your betrayal. So before you go through your action, you can decide if you want to continue with your betrayal. If you do, you still remove 1 ruin, but Goodest Boy will know that you are no longer a good boy yourself.
Okay. And okay. But if I don't go through it, then I don't remove ruin and the
You don't have to go through the action. You can just
Okay.
like pull out your sword, brandish it.
All right. Okay, here's what I do. I kind of realize that, like, okay, if I do this, I will be outed, and then I'll have to also probably fight the Goodest Boy. So I pull my sword, level it at his throat. The force speaks to us. The force seeks to drive us apart. I don't want to end up like Kel. You understand me?
Oh, I understand you completely. As I take my 2 fingers and kind of just move the sword slightly away from my throat. All I'm trying to do is get to the cathedral, get my get my fair share of the reward, and get out. If you want to come with, that's great. If not, good luck, and may the forest have your ever-dying soul. And I'm going to walk past him towards the path where Kel is. And went.
Keep a close eye on him, and your nose on him as well, Valen. We'll follow for now.
The insects are leaving the path that Kel took completely away. It's almost as if there is a tunnel through these noxious insects. Along this path, which at first seems like a drunkenly stumble run of a person who is lost their mind, or perhaps both of their eyes, you do see that there's a terrible logic. It weaves around every log and stone and puddle, making almost an awkwardly preternatural path. You feel under your feet, Acolyte, that there's some ancient road, maybe a sacred prayer road or something that was here long before the rise of men. Off to the side of this road, you see one more of these shrines. What does that look like, Valen? Something about it is familiar to you. How does the statue of that sister or saint look to you, and how does it represent your background?
Well, so it is this large headed, how to describe it to you guys so in a way that you would understand. You see, draping down from its sides would be these long, dark flaps with the elongated snout with a little ball on its end, and its head's about equally sized to its body. It sits on top of a shrine. The shrine is rectangular with a pyramidal shape on the top. The shrine itself is painted red. The figure on top of it has a pair of goggles that he is wearing, and has a scarf and is flying it as if it is a plane. And on his shoulder is a small yellow bird.
All right. Do you take a moment to snoop through this shrine, or are you just gazing reverently from a distance?
First gazing, then circling and sniffing, and then not marking, but sniffing to see if something else is marked, and then do I have a milk bone in my inventory? I feel like I should. I feel like I should
Are you saying that you are taking stock of the woods?
Yes.
Okay. Good grief. So you are leaving an offering to the shrine.
Yeah. I snoopy around and I take wood stock of it, and then I bother, and no, that's Winnie the Pooh. My bad. Dog.
You should probably see a psychiatrist about this.
I don't have 5 cents on me.
I mean, loosely, that's what I would suggest.
All right. The piano music playing.
Big
Vince
pin.
Giraldi.
Sorry, I wanted to be in there too.
Yeah.
There's going to be one Schultz fan that's going to be like, what have you done with my childhood? Okay, so you make an offering, and you have a resounding feeling that you are definitely the goodest boy. The path beyond this shrine leads and meanders around what looks to be like a very large hill of moss, and you can see beyond it, the forest gets thicker, and there is still a thick carpet of moss, but the amount of trees begins to increase and become more primordial. you see that there's a narrow band of stone outcrops and more solid-looking ground that gives you both a place where you could get a better vantage view, but also have a bit of an area where you can rest. You see that where the end of this moss zone and forest really begins, the insects seem to taper off, as if they hear something and they disappear into the woods far beyond. Each of you feel terrible and worn out from being constantly stung by biting insects. The sound of the forest kind of worming its way in your head, and the corruption of your bodies themselves as you take stock of what has happened to you since you've been here. You stop and rest, or do you press on?
I'm done being here. And I press on.
Since you are electing not to rest, Maradi, what outward manifestations of the swarm's malignancy lingers in you? Or sorry, lingers in you.
My greaves are coated in centipedes. Like, if you've ever been canoeing or kayaking or anything and you come across like a post sticking out of the water and it's just coated in centipedes, that's what my legs look like right now. And that's just on the outside of my armor. There's no telling what the inside looks like.
Are either of you wanting to rest? Or are you pressing forward along with Maradi?
I feel like if we don't go with him, he's gonna die. Also, loyalty is a good boy trait. So I feel like I am compelled to go with, but I'm also really wishing we would just rest. But I mean, humans go in that way. I'm a human. Wait, no, yes, maybe. I could be swayed either way.
There is safety in numbers. I'm saying this to Valen. I know that Maradi has put it in your head that I am not a good boy, much like how you are. You are a very, very good boy. But I feel like if we stick together, it might be for everyone's benefit. So as much as I could use a rest as anybody else, and I stare down at my leg with all the tadpoles just pouring out of it, I think we should press on.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so the three of you continue to press onward. As also a quick asides, how have enduring those swarms and what lingering maladies are on both of your characters as well?
Oh, you know when like a dog gets a tick on it and you don't catch it for like a couple of days, and by the time you find it, it's like big and like the size of like a jawbreaker. But like instead of a regular jawbreaker, like it's one of those novelty ones that were popular in the early 20s. Got those.
Mm-hmm. I feel like some of these insects might have been like flying termites. So I feel like they're kind of burrowing into that peg leg of mine that's I made a note of that. Covered in moss and succumbing to the forest. and I can feel as I'm putting pressure on it that it's ever weakening.
As you press forward, you begin to walk through the forest itself. Thankfully, it gets a little bit less marshy and squishy as you go through here, but the trees seem preternaturally tall, taller than the trees that you'd previously encountered, and they seem to be hunched over as if examining you as you are walking through the forest. You strongly have the feeling that you are trespassing somewhere you should not belong. As you continue, you see that there is a wide, shallow pool, perhaps 60 feet across, filled to overflowing with clutches of frog eggs the size of fat grapes. Beyond it, the path winds ever deeper. You know, though, as you are getting late in the day, that it is nightfall and it is getting even darker here. What do you do?
I think that being caught in the open in the forest at night is a very bad idea,
Mm-hmm.
and that we should continue to press on as hard as we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay. As you are, so are any of you interacting with this pool? Or are you skirting around it or walking right through it?
I'm gonna go up to the pool, being as I like have tadpoles coming out. I'm gonna kind of see if I can squeeze that wound and see if I can kind of push some of them out. See if I can like relieve some of that tadpole pressure and then into that pond.
You begin to milk your leg. And where you think that you might just squirt out one or two tadpoles, it is a nauseating gout of tadpoles. You feel your calf deflate a bit as just more of these snake out. And for a brief second, you are mobbed by frogs. Frogs just fling themselves at you from the pond as you are milking your leg and then jumping back in the pond. Perhaps it's some type of sign of affectation, but you feel a slight heaviness in your pack after they leave.
Okay. And look in the pack, see why it's so heavy.
So there's something in the pack that you didn't realize that was in there before. You discover something somewhere in your pack or amongst your gear is something that a loved one or a friend has included. It's a physical token to remind you of your drive. What is it that you discover, and what one or two sentence memory does it evoke?
It is a green bottle that has a half-built ship in it, still with the strings to pull the masts up and everything. Given to me by my wife that I left at home while I'm out to go get these riches, to remember to sail back to her.
After all of the tadpoles are off of you and you kind of get this little bit of hope, you can remove one of your conditions. The other two of you kind of see this weird scene, and you are both disgusted by this whole thing, terrified of the darkening forest around you, and yet you also feel a slight glimmer of hope. You can look through your bags, and both of you also find a physical token that reminds you of your drive. So, what is it, and what memory does it invoke?
Man, it's that ball that my little brother had. It was a baseball. It was signed by members of his favorite baseball teams. That it it meant a lot to him, and he'd throw it, and I'd go get it and bring it back, and then he'd throw it again, and then I go get it and then bring it back, and then he'd throw it again. And much like the ship in a bottle, it reminds me that I have to go back again to bring him back the ball.
What about you, Maradi?
My my pack has a shred of a kerchief. I was a vassal to a lord, uh, handsome, Ansem, the wistful. But just kind of due to being in close proximity to him and his family on a daily basis, feelings grew between me and Ansem's wife. And she suggested that we run away together and consummate our love. But I am a loyal retainer, and I told Ansem of her suggestion and of the feelings, and he had me execute her for betraying his trust. This kerchief reminds me that I am and always will be a loyal servant to my lord, no matter the personal cost, no matter my personal feelings.
Okay. So the lot of you have this little brief glimmer of hope, and you are continuing to press onward. You're exhausted, you're tired, the light is fading. It is preternaturally dark here. You don't have Kale's glamours to light the way. So you follow the path the best that you can. The trees themselves go from spindly and gnarled and hunched and tall to then being colossal, thick cypresses. The bark is just scales and scabs upon scales and scabs covered in moss. The network of roots that spread between them trips and twists your ankles almost with every step, making it like a very laborious process to walk through here. Who is taking point?
I will.
Roll me d6.
4.
Up ahead, you smell something, Valen, that makes you kind of uncomfortable. You smell rot and decay, different than what you'd smelt before in the marshes and the bogs. It smells a bit of all of the lichen and fungus that you had found in that rune of Cairns, but it is somehow worse. You see that there is a slight glimmer of light, but you're not sure where it's coming from. Maybe it's from the giant ring of fungus that seems to be in between like a small clearing of trees. But you see that there are like 3 figures hunched on logs around a dead campfire. They're bristling with strange purple and black mushrooms. They seem to be talking to one another.
Can I sneak closer to listen?
Yeah. If you're going to be getting close enough to listen to their strange voices, I'm going to make you make a risk roll to be undetected.
Okay. That's 1d6, right?
Mhm.
It's at least 1d6. You can take a dark die if you want to really risk to get really close, and then someone can make a bargain if you want.
I would like to offer you a bargain.
Okay, what's the bargain here?
The bargain is that if you take this, you get the extra light die, but your more animal nature is going to react to the fear, and the way animals react to fear is often through anger and lashing out. So you will have to contend with animalistic fear and desperation.
Sounds tasty. Okay. Anyone else want
I want to offer a help die just to get back on his good graces. Kind of not, just to give him the feeling that I'm not such a bad dude.
Kel offers the
Oh, shit, that one wins.
how point of order. How would you help?
I would try to point him in the right path to get closer without being seen.
to? Okay. So I'll take your help.
Okay.
The path. Yeah.
So are you also electing to roll a dark die?
So that would be 3 dice total.
So
Or
you're
no?
rolling. You always roll one light die.
Mhm,
You
mhm.
can elect to take a devil's bargain if you want for an additional light die, but you have to take and do the bad thing that comes with it. That's optional. You can optionally roll a dark die that represents additional risk that you're willing to take. Higher chances of success, but then you also have a chance of getting another ruin point. That's optional.
And
Then
so right
getting
now,
accepting the help
without
die
taking
is
the devil die, you'll roll 2 die, and
nope,
Kev.
one. He rolls the other die.
Right. Well, I was saying if he took a dark die but not the devil dice,
Correct.
he'd roll 2, and then Kevin would roll 1. Or
Correct.
if you don't want to take a dark die, you roll 1 die and Kevin rolls 1 die.
Well, I already did roll 1 die, and I got a 3, which is not very useful, I think.
Not great, no.
So if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to need to take that extra die.
Again,
Well, Kevin
you-
also gets to roll. So
Okay.
I rolled a 1.
Okay. Okay. Is it too late for me to take the dark die?
I think you're supposed to do it at the same time.
Yes.
all at
Okay.
once.
So,
So
if,
it's too late. It's fine.
so you fail and things get worse.
Yes.
So you are attempting to, but nothing bad happens to you, Alkali, since a dark die was not rolled. You attempt to go up to listen to these strange people, and you trip. How is it that you get their attention?
Well, I feel like with most big breeds of dog, they feel like they're tiny and they feel like they're agile, and I think I'm sneaking up quite well and that I'm low to the ground and they can't see me. But in reality, I'm just trundling my way up there with like my head down, but like my tail's still wagging because I'm excited and my butt's pretty much just up in the air. And just not graceful.
They stop muttering and they turn and look at you. One of them has strange robes that robes is kind of hard to tell because it's almost like a carpet of fungus laid over him. Another one looks like he's wearing a full suit of armor, and the other one appears to wear nothing at all but some type of shaggy coat completely festooned with weird drooping mushrooms and puffs of lichen. They turn their head at you, and their jaws seem like they would be completely fallen off if it weren't held in place by fungal tendrils. And they all just say, Valin, Valin. They stand getting off of their logs, and they begin to shamble towards you, calling your name, putting the
I'm going to
lint
circle around the camp.
We can hear you, Moradi, sneaking around.
Even if I use my surprise skill.
No, then roll me a risk check.
Okay. I am going to add 1 dark die.
Okay.
Any devils deals for me, y'all?
I got nothing.
I'll give you. I'll help you out. Just straight up help. Kind of point you at the right path. If you're looking to do that, just follow that around.
Take your help. I'll take your help. I'll roll my light die first. That's a 2, and my dark die. That's a 1. And roll your die, Kev.
I got a 3.
Okay.
No.
But the good thing is your highest die was not a dark die. So things fail and get worse, but at least you don't get a point of ruin. So not only do they call for your name, Moradi, but they also begin to start chanting Akale.
Ah, shit. They found me.
They gurgle your names. It's like the sound of water jostling in logs. It's the sounds of frogs hopping into fetid pools. It is the death rattle of people dying of the plague.
Ian, since he has been called out, Moradi comes closer to the 3, and I'm going to look real closely at the guy wearing the armor. Is it familiar to me?
Oh, it looks very familiar.
I figured, yeah.
His sword looks so similar to your sword, but it is covered in layers of rust and dark, unknown fluids. He draws the sword and begins to toss it uncomfortably lightly from hand to hand.
You're me and I'm you. That what this is supposed to be? More tricks from the forest?
The canopy above you laughs and shakes. Somewhere in the distance, you think you hear the shrill laughter of Kel.
I'll be damned if I die here.
Don't you see? You're already dead.
Me.
Sick burn. As he's confronting his fungal self, I'm gonna come out of the tree line as well and kind of just give him a tug on his arm. It's not worth it. This is just the forest playing tricks on us, and start going across.
It's no trick. You're never going to make it to the sea.
Well, neither are you. Nana boo boo.
We are very bad at insults.
Well, yeah, it's been an off night.
When we get back to town, we should take a class.
Your existence is an insult. You should not be here, and you will never leave here.
If you're saying that to us and we're you, then you're talking about yourself, and I really wish you wouldn't talk about yourself so negatively, sir.
They all churn and they laugh. The one that looks like you begins to almost spasm in its chest from the laughter, and it spits up a gobbet of wadded up mushrooms that loosely resembles a ball. Fetch, boy. Fetch.
I look over at my actual group for approval, and I look at where the ball went.
No.
No.
But-
No.
But
Sit. No.
Are you going to try to stop us from going on, or are you just here to throw your mockery at us?
They smile. They look at one another, and some of them tilt their head a little bit. Some of them kind of give a little bit of a knowing nod, and they smile. And their smile just gets wider and wider. The inside of their mouth are just pitch black nothingness.
Like I said, it's the force playing tricks on us. Let's just keep going. Come on, Valen.
all right,
We'll get you a good ball.
I already have. a
God
good
damn, but I
ball.
look good even covered in mushrooms, don't I?
It's a matter
I
of
say,
opinion.
You're going to try to kill them all, aren't you?
I spit on the ground in front of my doppelganger. That would be telling. Piss off.
He smiles and giggles, and he walks behind one of the giant cypress trees and out of sight.
Not my favorite place for them to be truth be told.
Yeah.
Like a spider, you don't want to see them, but you want to know where they are at all times.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like I said, it was the force just fucking with our heads. I mean, let's see if we can press on and get to this cathedral.
All right, so you're advancing further.
Mhm.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that looks like you, Acolyte, screams loudly and clearly, "Don't leave me," and begins to chase after you. You hear two distinct snaps, one wetly, like a log splitting in two, and the other like decayed bone snapping when stressed too hard. It crawls towards you on two
That would
ragged
be his
stalks.
legs. Your
Yeah,
legs. Sorry.
I picked up on that. I'm gonna look back and just shake my head and just walk off.
As you continue forward, you can see between the trees, just barely visible, are glints of silver and jade. You can hear hymns like strange humming and singing coming from that direction. You have this odd feeling of reverence and fear the closer you get to that sound.
Okay. So we go closer.
Might as well.
There's nothing close back there anyway.
Yeah. So do we recognize the sound? So like a bum 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 bum.
Yes, very much so. You see that you are coming to the approach of the cathedral itself. It is not a building of stone and mortar, maybe as you perhaps expected, but it is a grove of massive, tightly packed trees, utterly encrusted with layers of moss and lichen that look to be several feet thick. You can see little small gaps between some of these trees, and in it, filled with slightly luminous radiance, you can make out what looks to be a altar of some kind of metal, and above it, a candelabra of fine, delicate silver. In front of the cathedral, there is a large pool that extends from the base of the cathedral.
Do you know what fucks me off?
No, but I have a feeling you're going to tell us.
I am. You're right. Pissant. What pisses me off is, do you know what this means? These ruins.
Enlighten us.
It means that this wasn't always forest. It means that wherever the forest originated from, it spreads. It swallows. How long before it's back at town? How long before there's nothing but the forest? Depressing thought.
Yeah, you're kind of bumming me out. I say we get our stuff, get the fuck back to town, go on our merry way. And I'm going to press forward.
Cute.
So tell me about you pressing forward. When you look at the cathedral, it seems to be a fused mass of trees. There are little gaps that you could get up closer to for a better look of what's inside the cathedral. But from your preliminary view, there is no door or entrance around the base of this grove. The pool in front of you looks deep, and above you, you see that there are gaps in the top of the crown of trees.
So one of my skills is construction. So is there a way that, with staring at the way that the trees have completely engulfed it and when all the holes to see through, is there a best course of action that I can see getting through this barrier the way it was constructed?
You can either make a construction roll for advice here, or you could roll Pathfinder. Both may give you different bits of information of how to proceed.
I'll roll construction. And I'll throw in a dark die. That's a 6 on the light and a 1 on the dark.
That means that you succeeded very well. So you know from looking at this, and you can choose, I'm going to let you choose if you want to do this or not. You could cut down one of these larger cypress, or I guess smaller cypress, something that's manageable for you to cut, and fell it against the cathedral and use that to climb up to the top of this. Oddly enough, the top of it almost resembles a bit of a bell tower. So you could descend down from the top of this and get in. You just don't know how the force is going to react to that. But you could certainly easily get in through that ways.
You know what? I'm going to do it. I don't have anything necessarily that can cut it down, so I'm going to see if I can find a cypress that I can kind of nudge against to uproot it.
with that 6 that you rolled, you could certainly do that.
Okay.
So you take this time to knock the tree against the cathedral. While he's doing that, are the either two of you wanting to do your own either exploration of this or to try to find it all a different way in?
Yeah, my initial thought while all this was going on is, could Best Boy dig his way in underneath the trees, like find a part where there's not too much roots impacted that I might be able to like dig my way underneath?
The challenge with that is that this is a grove of trees,
Yeah,
so the
that's-
roots are going to make that impossible.
Okay,
But
that's what I figured.
But taking a look at Goodest Boy with maybe that might be maybe that might be something on your transformation. Your Goodest Boy could maybe wants to explore that pool, although pools have been kind of sketchy thus far.
Yeah, it hasn't really worked out. Plus, does everyone want to really smell wet dog?
Well, right now you're definitely smelling wet
Not
Moradi.
the worst thing we smelled today.
That's true. Okay, yeah, there's pool. I'll check out the pool. I'll go in there. I'll splash around, see if I can find something to I don't know, find. Maybe someone left
Okay.
a hot dog in there.
So when you dip down, you find that the pool is much deeper than it looks, and there is what seems to be like a sluice or some type of passageway beyond that feeds into a well inside the cathedral. You could try to swim through this passageway.
Yeah, but I can only doggy paddle. No one? Okay, fine. I will try to swim through.
All right. Then you will need to make a risk roll.
Okay, that's 2.
That's 1 light die that you get to roll. You can choose to roll a dark die if you want to increase the danger, but also the success. Someone can offer you a devil's bargain. And if Moradi wants to help you swim, they can offer you a help die. If Moradi wants to.
You're on
Moradi is on mute.
I am weighed down by armor,
Hmm.
but what I could do is put a hand on Good Boy's shoulder and help weigh him down to get him down there faster.
Are you trying to drown your opponent, or
Yeah.
your teammate, or are you trying to help them? I just need to know.
He said shoulder, not head.
Well, your head is attached to your shoulder. Last I checked.
Okay.
As far
Moradi could change that
as
too.
Varen knows, I'm helping him. Yeah, as far as he knows, I am helping him.
This sounds
I
very
don't know what-
trustworthy.
But Ian, yes,
You want to try to drown him?
yes.
Okay.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
roll my subtlety die now, which will decide if I actually try to drown him. What do I need to get under my ruin?
Yeah. Well,
I got under my ruin. I rolled a 1.
are you all right, Malin, if we see how this plays out? This would turn from a risk roll into a contested roll to see if he begins to drown you.
Oh,
Do you
sure.
consent to that?
Here we are. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I'm rolling 1d6 or 2d6 because this is help.
So, well, this is so we're shifting it. So you're not
Yeah, we're shifting it. Okay.
You're not doing the original roll. So
Okay.
what's going to happen here is that you're doing contested rolls. So each of you rolls 1 light die, and you are both going to take a dark die automatically because what you're doing is dangerous. Now, here comes the crux of this. Each of you can take as many additional dark dice as you are willing to risk. After rolling, you count all the sixes that each player has. The one that has the most wins. If it's ties, it kind of cascades down, but you still have the amount of, you can still get lots of ruin points from your dark dice, just like you would otherwise.
Okay. So I've rolled my light die, and then I have to roll one dark die minimum.
Correct. And you
Okay.
can choose to roll more if you want.
Um,
But
I
don't. And then have you made your rolls that you want to make, Maradi?
No, I was gonna ask Patchkey how many dark dice he was rolling. Do I get to ask that?
Does he get
I
to
think
ask
you
that? Do I
can.
have to answer that? He can ask
That's
all
a
he
good
wants.
question. Since we're playing remotely, I think if you're at the table, that would be common knowledge. So I think it's fair etiquette that you reveal how many dice you're rolling.
I have currently rolled the one additional die, so that's 3 dice total.
So 2 dark dice.
Okay, I will match your risk.
Okay.
So that's my light. And here's me making a note of what I'm rolling because I didn't drop that. There's the dark, and there's the dark. Okay, I've rolled my die.
Oh, I have made one error, and we can re-roll. I misread one of my lines notes. So each dark die that you roll gives each dark die that rolls a 1 is an automatic point of ruin and a condition. So if that would have changed how many dark dice you would have rolled, we can re-roll some mulligan.
I'm fine with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's reveal.
Oh, and point of clarification, because I made my subtlety roll, even
You
if he
reduced
wins
your
this
ruin by
contest, he won't know that I was doing this on purpose, right?
Correct.
Okay. Cool.
But
All right.
So if you fail, then he can make his risk roll and continue and would be none the wiser.
Mm-hmm.
But you still get 1 point of ruin taken away.
Okay.
So what
Cool.
how many sixes did you get, Valen?
Valen has 2 6s.
Dang, dog.
It was
Okay.
literally my first 2 rolls, and I was just like, this is going great. I'm going to roll one more. 3. I will
Well,
stop here.
okay. What did you roll,
You
Maradi?
did. I didn't roll any 6s.
Okay. So you have no idea that your compatriot just tried to drown you. They shoved you. So you failed. How did this play out as you were trying to do this swimming check?
So, as I mentioned, I'm in armor, so my thought was I'll just like hold his shoulders, we'll sink down, and then I won't let go. But he's a dog man, and they are slippery and slicker than I was expecting. And he just kind of like, we got off the bottom, and he's like, "Thanks, bud."
Sounds accurate.
Yeah, dogs are hard to hold underwater.
Point of order. I realized how much that I have messed this one because this is our first contested roll. If we do more, because we're about to enter in our final phase before we call this to the close, technically you were supposed to roll 1 light die per. You get 1 for your skill if it's related, and then you roll 1 per each point of ruin that you currently have.
Oh,
So that
I would
actually
have
changes the
destroyed him then.
calculus.
Yeah, that would have completely changed it.
So that is my error. We can elect to redo this whole scene. How
Doesn't matter. He still beat me.
all right.
Oh, that's good to know.
Apologies for my mistakes,
No worries. We're still learning.
but it's good to know because as we go into a conclusion. All right. So I will say that you will make your risk well, I know it's kind of a long scene as definitely Akale is working on his tree bridge. Valen, go ahead and make me your risk roll, and then we'll transition the scene. So you are now swimming through the underwater tunnel.
That is a 5 and a 2. I took a dark die.
Which was the higher of the dice? Was it light or dark?
The light was the 5, and the dark was the 2.
So you succeed, but there's a complication as you're swimming through the tunnel. What's the complication?
Oh, let me see. I'm swimming. I'm a dog. I don't have a bone to drop in the water because I saw my reflection and barked at it, so that's not an option. I think just something basic. I'm swimming under, like, through a tunnel thing. I scratched myself. One of the ticks that I had previously picked up on got dislodged, and it had like an anti-clotting effect, so I'm bleeding.
Okay, I like that. Akale, you have let me take one step back. Valen, you pop out of this water tunnel in a well in this cathedral off to the side inside of this grove of trees. Valen, Akale, you have knocked over this tree and pushed it over in a way that you can easily scamper up and look down from the top of the bell tower of this natural cathedral. When you look down, you can see, or actually I should say back, do you climb up? Do you let anyone else go ahead of you? What do you do once you have your tree bridge made?
I'm just going to climb up. And when I get to the top, I think I might just push it off so no one else can climb up.
Okay. So you get on top of this natural structure and knock over the tree. From here, you can look down into the cathedral. It is beautiful and gorgeous. There are intricate statues that make up the stations of the saints that line this place. On top of that metal altar, you can tell from the strange luster that it is a metal not from this world, that it is an altar made of meteoric iron, smithed by a race of peoples long since gone. Upon it, there is a heavy tome bound in verdant green leather and banded in intricately worked copper. All around it, there are stone pews draped in thick layers of moss. It looks decadent, and there's a feeling of somnolence and reverence here. There is off to the side, there is a podium with a recess, and there is a ball. And off to the side, you see a statue of a goose. It looks like it could be a pretty long fall from here. You could drop down if you have any equipment that helps you rappel down. You can maybe take your chances and jump on one of those candelabras that are seemingly hanging in air to break your fall. How do you want to get down from this very high height?
That is a very good question.
So now you've kicked off your ladder.
Yes, I did.
If you want to, good.
I was gonna say, is along the walls is there anything like half-ass like protruding out, like stonework or branches or something that I could see it like a certain pattern that I could possibly like work my way down?
There are thick layers of bark. You can attempt making a pathfinding roll to see if maybe you can find handholds on the way down.
Okay. Pathfinding, that's not one of my skills, is
I
it?
thought that was one of your.
No, I've got construction, paths, and patterns.
See, that's what I was thinking. Paths. Either it could be a path or a pattern. Either would make sense.
Yeah, I haven't used patterns, so let's do that. And just to make it interesting, I will use a dark die as well. So I got a 6 and a 1
What was the 6?
the dark one.
Okay. You succeed. So you get down safely. However, you've hit 6. So that means you either decide if you want to become a thrall of the Dark Forest or if you want to have a glorious death of some kind. You could have also specified if kicking that log to deny Morati a way up it was an act of betrayal, or if that was just an action you would have done. But
Absolute act of betrayal.
do you want to retroactively roll to see if that would have counted?
Sure. So,
So you're rolling d6. You're trying to get 5 or less.
okay. 6.
Okay, so it is known that you are actively working against Morati. If you proceed with that, you want to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll actively work because Valen did not see that because he was swimming. So, and I'm trying to get back in his good graces.
Yes.
Pull a sword on me. Then boo boo. So,
All right. But we'll say that you get safely down and you are not dead or a thrall yet.
Okay.
So Morati, your attempt to do in the goodest boy did not work. So you are armor's drenched. You pull your head up from the pool. You see that log has been knocked over and is shattered. How do you want to get inside the cathedral?
And you're on mute.
I'll be on mute until I understand what to say. I'm kind of stuck. My skills do not. You know what? That's not true. I have athletics. I am going to attempt to scale the trees.
Absolutely. Go ahead and make your roll.
Okay, where'd my d6 go? There, my d6. My life. And dark. I don't.
What did you
I
roll?
rolled 2 twice.
Does anyone want to offer you a bargain?
How can we get him in here and have it bad for him? The trees have thorns that pierce his hands. So he can use them to like climb up, but at the same time, he looks like he has the stigmata because just however many brambles have stuck their like way through his palms that now he can't grip a sword very well.
That is exactly where I was going to lead that. That's a good bargain. So you get an extra die, but your hand is ruined enough that it makes wielding a sword difficult or impossible.
No, I'm not going to do that. I know that he betrayed me. I know that he wants me dead. I am not going to risk not being able to hold a weapon.
Well,
Oh.
Valen hasn't tried to betray you.
No, it was.
I know, but he's also not here. And I know that someone is trying to betray me.
So then, in that case, without you, well, you still have options. So first off, you could make that roll again. However, how do you fail and things get worse for you as a starter?
So I start to climb. I see the thorns, and I jerk my hand away in time, but I do fall and I do injure my leg.
What's wrong with it?
I did not break my ankle, but I did twist it. It's
All right.
not a bad sprain, but it is painful to stand on.
Slow movement. Got it. All right. You want to make that roll again?
Yep. I'll look for a less thorny path and go again. All right. That was a 5 and a 2.
What one was the 5?
The dark die.
Okay.
I am
So
back to 5 ruin.
you succeed, but there's a complication. What's the complication once you get up to the top of this?
I mean, the complication is that I am winded from the climb and I am defenseless for a couple of minutes.
All right. Okay. You're also going to have to find your way down. So we're getting close here to the climax. Do you want to wait to see what happens to the two of them while they're down there, or are you trying to get down there as soon as possible?
I'm going to wait.
Okay. So, Goodest Boy, you pop up out of this well. You get that same description that Acolyte had. Stone pews drenched in a thick, luxurious layer of moss, stations of the saints, and beautiful statues all around. The altar with the tome, the plinth with the ball. You see another kind of podium that has that statue of the goose. These were the treasures that you were looking for.
Yeah. So I'm torn right now because the only logical two things in there for me to go after are either ball or goose, because is bird. Have to chase it, even if it's a statue.
The first thing is, as you see, Acolyte has also kind of come to this at the same time. You see ahead, closer to the ball, that statue of that large-headed dog beast creature with the small bird perched upon its shoulder. How does your saint look more sublime than you understood? And what does the fell spirit that possesses Alkali look like?
Well, first of all, it looks more sublime because it is like, even as I see it there in 3 dimensions, it is the 80s animation style, but like clean, not like the CG version of what this could have been. Like it looks glorious in all of its flatness and rugged lines. And as far as the sorry, what am I describing about the acolyte?
What does the evil spirit that's possessing Alkali look like?
Oh,
How has Alkali turned into a twisted parody of what he once was?
well, the evil spirit is obviously a cat. And I can see it, but I don't know if anyone else can.
Alkali, how does your saint look more beautiful when you look upon their statue? And what terrible malign possession has taken hold of Valen?
I'm gonna say it looks like the statue looks just pristine, just almost glows with just completely carved just beautifully. And then the spirit possessing Valen, I'm gonna say is gosh, it's got to be Sabaton, the crab god.
I love it. Bastaton.
Bastaton, sorry.
All right. To the cultists in the rear?
I would like to enact my ritual.
I was wondering when you would do that. Okay. Go for it.
How do I roll for that?
You're
One
treating
more
it
again?
just like you would a risk roll.
Cool. Unseen above, Maradi reaches down and grabs a bundle of sticks and just kind of casually tosses them down below. Okay, so 1 light die and then a number of dark die, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Keep going.
God damn. Yeah, no.
What are... Okay, so
Okay.
you're going to...
It doesn't matter. Wait, do you need the total I rolled or
No,
the
you're-
dice?
what the highest die you rolled was.
All right, the highest die I rolled was a 3.
Wow.
Ouch.
That many die and you only got 3?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's
what
why I
was-
was just like, oh, let's
what
keep
was the-
fucking going.
What was the highest? What was the? Did any of those dark dice? Was any of those higher than your light dice?
Yeah, all of them were.
Okay. Well, that is great because you hit 6 ruin.
I
You get a
did.
condition. You get a ruin. So roll me a d6.
1.
Your feet slowly curl and harden into cloven, moss-covered hooves. Your
fair.
twisted, lame ankle juts out awkwardly. So you've hit your 6th ruin. So you either choose a glorious death, or do you want to become a thrall of the forest?
So I feel that if I had done this on a risk roll that was not specifically targeting my friends, that I would die a glorious death. However, what I was doing was being cruel and malicious to my friends. Ergo, the forest has taken me. And do you decide what that looks like, or do I?
You decide. Would you like me to tell you what that looks like, or do you want to say how your corruption manifests?
I will take this. I will take this onus upon myself. I'm wearing green armor. That used to be metal, but has twisted and hardened into hard moss-covered bark. A helmet of wood has grown over my head, hiding my features, except for 2 glowing dots that emit a spore-filled mist of green light that pours out of the helmet. My cloak, which again was cloth. Ooh, there's a car behind me.
I've seen it.
Is now vines that attach to the ground and the foliage. The thing that once was Moradi leaps down from above and lands in the central area with you and rises, branches curling from his... It's like if H.R. Geiger had a tree kink. Centipedes, millipedes, and spiders crawl in and out of the cracks of his organic armor, and he lifts his sword, which even as he holds it is warping into a ironwood scythe, and points it at y'all. He's staying between you, so he's pointing at y'all, and you hear a hollow laugh echo from lungs filled with spores. Atsum is dead. The forest survives.
That is a fantastic scene. So, we have a decision for you two surviving players right now. Both of you are beginning to hallucinate in this cloud of spores that are coming out and the malign presence of the forest. Each of you, your saints, are whispering to you, showing you visions of a crypt below your feet where the true treasures lie, where the best ball is, where all the riches are to fund your expedition to the sea, if only for the cost of blood. You also know that Murati, or the thing that once was, it's also coming for you and your treasures. How do you play out this last scene?
We're kind of pinned in here unless I were to like swim back through to escape. But one of my skills is ferocity. So I feel like just attacking and mauling the shit out of him might
Out of who?
the
Akale, or the thing that was once Murati?
the creature formerly known as Murati.
Why don't, if you, for to kind of bring this to a close, would the two of you like to do one quick contested roll?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I just get to do a base of
So I was
Two?
incorrect. So you have, I believe, 5 ruin right now, correct?
me.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I
Phelan,
thought, I
how
thought
do
I
you-
only had 3, unless I missed.
okay, I wasn't keeping track of it.
Yeah.
So you roll 1 light die plus 3. You roll 4 dark dice. I can't talk. 4 light dice and 1 dark die, and then Murati rolls 6 dark and 1 light.
All right, so 4 light die, 1 dark die. Okay. Oh man, I had these all organized. I guess you're a light die now.
And you can roll as many other dark dice as you want.
1, 1, 1, 2, 3. That wasn't good. My dark die was a 1 though.
That's bad. That raises your root. Murati, what did you roll? What was your highest roll?
I rolled
You're
2
on mute.
6s.
Okay.
2
Well, there we
sixes.
go. So you, so Phelan, you lose this contested roll. What is the death scene that you would like to play out from this vicious scythe attack?
My character's death.
Yeah.
Well, so being Wolfman that he is, best boy would snarl and growl. His back fur would stick up, and he would get and like starting off on all fours, kind of like that gallopy thing, going into 2 legs. His claws come out, he snarls, his teeth show, and he goes into like jump and go to bite at the throat of this creature should be, assuming it still has a throat. And while he's in midair getting ready to come down, that's when he gets the ironwood scythe, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to the good old chestular region.
You die a grisly death. For you, Akale, all you know is that there's one less person to take your treasure, your rightful treasure. You see the hulking form of Murati, and for the thing that once was in front of you. Do you know that if you were to slay him, all the treasure would be yours? You could try to regain your sanity and try to flee, or you could maybe throw yourself at the mercy of the saints. What do you do?
You said that there was the overall feeling that there's a crypt underneath that had more fortune, but they wanted blood, right?
Yeah.
Well, what he's going to do is he's going to pop off a chunk of his peg leg, and he's going to stab it through his hand and have the blood drip onto the ground where the crypt area is, where they're asking for the blood.
Your saint leans over above you, towering beatifically, and says, "No, my dear one, the blood of others."
Oh, that hurts then.
Worry not. It still makes us smile. But
then I'm gonna pull out the shard of the chunk of wood out of my hand. I'm going to stab Moradi.
all right. One last
That's
contested
rude.
roll.
Oh, really,
This
Mister?
one's-
I'm gonna hold a sword to me. I'm sorry. What's that? How many?
So this is the last roll for all that. So you have 5 ruin, and so it'd be 6 light dice plus 1 dark die.
Okay. So
Also, I don't know if it changes anything, but I do believe, Ackley, that you also have a ritual that you could use if you wanted to use that.
I
instead.
will beforehand. I will. Oh, that doesn't work though, because it says I have to stay motionless. To do it.
Then in that case, well,
I'm just gonna stab him.
okay.
There's all my light dice. There's a 6, 5, 3 4s, and a 1, and the dark die.
Wait, how do you have that many light die?
It's 1 for each point of ruin plus 1 if he's skilled.
And then a 6 on the dark die.
Then you can roll as many extra dark dice as you want.
I'm gonna roll all these. That's 2 6s, a 1, 2 5s, and a 2.
Okay, so each time you have a dark die that rolls a 1, that's an extra point of ruins, point of order. But you had
Okay.
2 6s?
Yes.
How many 6s do you have, the thing that was once Moradi? All right, so then the tie is the next highest number of dice. So how many 5s do each of you have? 2 5s versus 1. So the tie would go to Alkali. All right, I know we are basically at time. Let's kind of have, what is your death scene, Moradi?
Maradi swings overhead with a scythe, attempting to take Akali's head. But he is faster, ducks under, and drives the his blade under Maradi's chest plate up into the lungs. Maradi grunts, dropping the scythe, reaches up and grabs both sides of Akai's head and vomits just like a continuous stream of vomited spores and green light pouring out of his mask, his helmet, into Akai's face. And as that dies off, the armor crumples to the ground empty.
Great. With that, the ground underneath you, Acolyte, opens, and you see the way to this crypt. It is full of gold, everything you need to fund your expedition. as you go to collect your money, you see there is one strange thing on top of the center of the pile of gold. It looks like a severed arm.
Well, of course I'm going to go look at it. That's not supposed to be there.
As you look at this arm, you hear a voice behind you. It's muffled as if someone's speaking through many layers of fabric, and you turn and you see the form that was once Kel completely turned into a living wall of moss seems to say the words, "Well, hello, gorgeous." And you see the roots above you beginning to close in around you. So, that's
Worth it.
Trophy Dark, y'all.
Nice.
Trophy Dark.
Hell
Friends, thank you so much for joining us on this this trip through the forest. Obviously, everything went great.
Mhm.
Exactly as planned.
Mm-hmm.
Totally winning.
Beans had lots of fun.
Oh, beans.
I love this game. I think this game is fantastic and it is very cool. Had lots of fun playing with my friends.
Yay.
We are
Mm.
about to enter into our next campaign. I don't know if that's going to be next week or the week at, or if we're going to take a week off to make sure we're prepared for a new campaign. But either way, we will be playing that soon, and we will keep you updated. Follow us on X, that's at JuanMoncast, and you will get all the beautiful news as far as that goes. In the meantime, why don't you check out Madness Heart Games on Itch, where you can get amazing things such as Rise of the Teratoma, Living Cities, and Your Mom. All available on Itch for like, I want to say like $1 or $2. We have lots of games on there, and that would be rad. But we'll be back. Thank you so much for joining us on this consensual journey we call Wandering Monster. I have been John Baldisberger.
I'm Kevin Welch.
I have been the sentient will of a bunch of moss and angry trees. Ian Servas.
I've been a good boy.
The best. The very best.
This boy.
We will be back soon. Until then, why don't you just sit down and listen to Bog Wizard on repeat until we get back? Cheers, everyone.